Good evening, good evening, good evening to everyone, and welcome to our natural health meetup. We have an opportunity tonight to be able to discuss a topic that is very much a part of natural health optimization. I'd like to welcome those of you who are here on our Zoom call. We know that we have others watching on YouTube and also on Facebook Live. And we just want to welcome each one of you. We just want you to know we do these programs because we really care. We know that health optimization is or should be certainly at the top of everyone's mind, especially during the times that we are now with viruses that are all over the world and creating havoc. And we're just really thrilled that everything that we do to optimize our health is somehow a defense against these things that are going on. And we want to thank you for coming out tonight. We have a great program for you and welcome you. We'd like to just do a couple of things to set our stage well here. And so we have this is our group, the Natural Health Enthusiasts. We have, this is going beyond 6 years now, about 6 years and 2 months. And it's been a tremendous opportunity for us to make dents in the health profile of people that we interact with. We have had quite a number of, what should I say, successes or victories, maybe a better word, in helping others to make changes in their life so they can be better at their health. None of what we do is a cure for anything. We just simply educate and share from the research and from our personal experiences, things that have happened. This is an outreach ministry. And so, in effect, we have a number of organizations that collaborate for this. First of all, we have Community Outreach Incorporated, which is a service of the All Nations Fellowship Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we just do these every single month because we know that when you come, you're able to learn some things, make some changes in your life, and improve the health outcome for yourself and for your family. The meetup organizers that we get together pretty often to plan these, and we're just asking you that if for any reason you have a topic that you would like us to be able to discuss and to present on, please let us know. We have, I'm going to put in chat right now in the chat window, we're going to put a link, and this link is designed for you. If you use that link, you will find multiple ways to reach us. You will have an opportunity to reach us on Facebook, an opportunity to reach us by email, and also you'll have an opportunity to reach us through our church. And please just go ahead and use this information. Join our Facebook group. You will have the recordings automatically there on our Facebook group, so you'll have them to refer to at any time. And we also add on a periodic basis guides and additional information just focusing on natural health options and choices. We also want you to know that this is a lifestyle medicine. It's integrating the 8 laws of health. And, you know, this today is one of the laws. We're discussing temperance specifically. And you'll see that in just a moment. But we always back it up with scientific research so that you have a good balance of good information and also connected to science and to the research, fairly recent research as well. The disclaimer that we have is that you take none of what we say as medical advice. Please consult a qualified health professional who is qualified to treat, to diagnose, and to do anything relating to your health. This is purely for educational purposes, and we just really trust that you will do your own research on top of what we share here so that you can be certainly well informed in all corners for your own health. So I'm going to also present this page. If you use the link that I just shared in the chat window, That is the link that I just placed there. If you use that link, you will get to this page. So now you have the Facebook group, you have the Natural Health Meetup, you have the All Nations Fellowship Prayer Request, and you also have the ability to request private health coaching or consulting. And all of that is available here on that one link. So you'll actually get a page with all of these. We encourage you to join our Facebook group and also our meetup group and join us for our church services on Saturdays at 11 a.m. And our Bible studies at 9:45 a.m. as well. So thank you all for coming out. We are going to ask Dr. Junta this time to say a word of prayer for us. And then right after that, we'll introduce our speakers, introduce the theme for the night, and we'll carry forward from that point. Dr. Junta.
Thank you. I have a prayer. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I have a quote from the Bible, the book that tells us how to be healthy. It says in Genesis 1:29, I give you every green tree bearing fruit, bearing seed to eat for meat. We have a rabbi, Moses ben Maimonides. He says, no disease that can be treated by diet should be treated by any other means. We have a quote from St. Jerome. He says, good, better, best, never let it rest. So your good is better and your better is best. And so may we move in that direction to gain knowledge, to make better choices, and we enjoy the freedom that God has given us, freedom in our country to make better choices and prosper and be healthy because of it. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much for giving us that word, Dr. Junta. Dr. Junta is one of our co-founders, and we're going into our 7th year, and we're just thrilled to have him as one of our presenters this evening. Let me share my screen again, and that will take us to a different place here. Let's do this. And so here the topic tonight is temperance. And, it's kind of an interesting word to define, and you'll see a different definition for this word tonight. Temperance, what does temperance have to do with your healthy gut? What does it have to do with energy, mental health? The entire health profile that you have is connected to temperance. And we're going to take a few angles at this that may be just a tad different than the traditional that you are accustomed to. And then, of course, we want to identify, well, what is temperance? And here's an interesting definition. Temperance is perhaps a combination of lifestyle choices that optimize the balance of your microbiome to provide great mental, emotional, and physical health. And I must tell you that most often we think about the microbiome as being an internal thing relating to the gut, all the way through the chest cavity. And well, to be honest with you, it is all over our bodies, inside and outside, on the skin and the eyes and the ears. They're healthy and unhealthy bacteria that somehow have a nice ratio. And when we're healthy, well, it produces an optimal health condition in our body. That balance is maintained by the things that we do and the experiences that we have. And so keep in mind that it is both internal and external, but we're only really going to focus on the internal tonight. The external is a whole nother thing. And the data, the information is still being explored. And so, but we'll focus primarily on the internal tonight. The 3 sections that we have, I will be doing this first part, connections to the microbiome regarding temperance. How does that really, what is that connection really? Dr. Junta will be doing the counterproductive behaviors, or those things from which we should abstain. And then tonight we also have Don Hall, who's one of our planning team. He's been a presenter with us before, has had tremendous life transformation over the last several months. And he will be sharing with us how work-life balance works in terms of temperance. And I got to tell you, don't miss it. He may not say it, but it has a direct connection to the microbiome, believe it or not. And so we're just happy to be able to make these connections for you this evening. So why the microbiome? Why is this gut thing a part of the health optimization conversation and temperance? That is the section that I will be doing tonight. My name is Dale Campbell, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all and to do this along with the other presenters in our group. So, what does a healthy gut not look like? Well, when we think of the gut in layman terms, it really is about the external view. And, well, it's somehow related, because you will see here that the healthy microbiome gives us it makes it easy for us to maintain a healthy weight, a healthy BMI. And in the external, you just want to be sure that you can see your feet easily when you're standing. You will also find on the external, when the healthy microbiome on the inside is just fine in balance, you'll have no eczema, no psoriasis, no acne, no skin irritations, no skin allergies. And so the evidence for health appears from the research that it is very much connected to a healthy microbiome. And then, of course, in the internal, emotional, physiological, and mental areas, no cravings for sweets and processed foods. So let me give you a personal experience. You guys, most of you know that I have been on a path of health optimization in a very serious way for a number of years now. And I had the misfortune of having a cracked tooth not too long ago. I have to go back, I have to have a root canal, and the antibiotics that I kind of had to take because I missed the correct combination of herbs that I should have been using. And it was too late to go back and get them and to reverse the whole thing, given the pain and the discomfort and the size that my face was becoming. And so I did take the antibiotics. And you know, so much of the cravings that I had came back. Cravings for sweets, cravings for processed foods, even a simple thing as corn chips and salsa. I had a severe craving within 3 or 4 days after starting the antibiotics. And so there's a really interesting connection in the research. And I believe I first heard this from Natasha, who's on the line with us tonight. Good to see you, Natasha. That the unhealthy bacteria, the bacteria that are just not good for us in our gut, they produce neurotoxins that, create the cravings. And it was kind of interesting to be able to realize that even the consistency of my stool after taking the antibiotics, it changed significantly, and it still hasn't really come back completely to where it was. And so I want you to see the connection, all right, that the things that we do, they actually do impact cravings. And so that is a good sign. If you don't have cravings for sweet and processed foods, you can be pretty much assured that your healthy balance with your healthy versus unhealthy bacteria in the microbiome. Little to no fatigue is also a really interesting and important area to observe. No stomach discomfort. Many people get bloated soon after eating. Some people get bloated just on water, and have all kinds of discomfort constantly from day in, day out. And irritable bowel syndromes, IBS, IBD. These are conditions where a lot of the research right now is saying, oh, check the microbiome. Let's see what we can do about it. No respiratory allergies, sinus conditions, sniffles that come up. I must tell you, since I have been on this track of health optimization, I used to have hay fever where I couldn't even mow my grass. I would go outside, and by the time I inhaled 2 or 3 times, my eyes would be watering and I would be sneezing, and the drainage would be, all the mucus coming out. And I don't have it anymore. I absolutely do not have it anymore. It's all completely gone for several years now. And so, yes, microbiome, the healthy gut, when you have this kind of scenario where these things disappear, you can tell the progress of your health. And many times you don't even notice that the things are gone. And that's, so journaling is going to be very important if you decide to make any changes in your life. And then mood issues, migraines, autoimmune disorders are also strong indicators that the microbiome needs attention. And so the next slide here is, I call it weird things. These are things that are not necessarily out in the common body of knowledge. And these are things that I have been using for some time now and really identifying the benefits. And so this part is going to be perhaps an area where you might pick up a couple things. But what natural things can we use to get our microbiome, the gut bacteria, in a healthy balance where our health is optimized? Well, sauerkraut is a really good resource there. It's obviously a fermented food, and it is natural. It does really a great job of creating or feeding the gut with the prebiotics that are helpful for the healthy bacteria. And other fermented foods, certainly vegetables, similar to the sauerkraut, extremely, extremely powerful in helping to restore the balance. I want you to also realize that just inhaling air, if it is polluted air, it is going to have a negative effect on a healthy microbiome. So we want to spend some time in the forest preserve. We want to go out in the woods and where the fresh air and the full complement of negative ions are just floating around in between the leaves and the trees, and even on the forest floor. Taking a walk in these areas where they even have a little rotting wood, so those bacteria that are breaking down the soil and breaking down the organic material. When you inhale some of this stuff, you're improving your microbiome. So when we say go for a walk in the woods or where there's a large forestry and verdure, please know it's not just because it feels good and it's clean air. It really is a stimulant to improve the balance of the microbiome in your gut. And now this is a touchy area because so many of us are eating healthily, but foods untouched by chemicals, any one of the chemicals that are used as pesticides, insecticides, fertilizers, chemical fertilizers that are used many times in the production and the harvesting process for foods, anything like that, folks, is going to be destructive to your microbiome. So here's my quick and easy recommendation. If you're eating whole foods, fruits, vegetables in their original, form. And I just remembered one other thing, plastics. If you're drinking water or your foods come in plastics, you really need to do a special treatment on them because the plastics have an outgas that contaminates the foods, and they do destroy the microbiome as well. But you want to throw all of your veggies and your fruit, I mean, whether it's a banana or an apple or a pear or a kiwi, blueberries, have them soaking in a solution of baking soda, because that leaches away a lot of the chemicals. It actually converts some of the harmful ones. And, you know, it just, if you intend to optimize the microbiome, these are some of the things that you want to do. And we started this during the COVID. We're just being extra careful. Everything that comes in now, we either wipe them down with from the outside if it's something in a casing, but everything that's a whole food goes directly into the sink and soaks for 15 to 30 minutes. It's a very powerful way to clean those veggies and fruits so that we can maintain a healthy microbiome. Now, this one is a really fun one. And here it says, what's a natural thing you can do to improve or restore a healthy balance in the microbiome? Go play in the dirt, folks. Go play in the dirt. Now, it's got to be dirt that has not been, touched by chemical fertilizers and dangerous pesticides. But man, playing in the dirt is so amazing, because the bacteria that are in the soil, those microorganisms in the soil, they're breaking the soil down. They're breaking down a lot of organic material. And I just look at this as an amazing, what should I call this? Brilliance of the creator of the universe, that practically everything gets recycled in some way or another. We have some things that man has produced, petroleum products like plastics and so on, that don't get recycled. But can you believe it? That the normal breakdown of organic material in the soil produces things that are extremely helpful to the microbiome in our bodies. Here are a couple examples. Fulvic acid, fulvic powder, is something that I encountered about 5 years ago. And I have been using the fulvic powder version, and I'm going to put that up to my camera here. This is some of this. It's pretty expensive, but you don't need a whole lot. And I don't know, you guys, can you see that spoon? Can you see that? That spoon is just a little nip. And so we just use a nip of this powder, and we use it pretty much every day in our smoothie. And this is fulvic powder.
Yes, it is.
Yes, fulvic powder. On the market, you'll find in more prevalence fulvic acid. And so let's take a look. I'm going to have a link here. We're going to take a look at what we're talking about. All right, therapeutic potential of fulvic acid in chronic inflammatory disease and diabetes too. Right? But man, it touches on everything. And so fulvic acid, the natural health products is the NHP. And here it says can modulate the immune system, influence the oxidative state of cells, and improve gastrointestinal functions, all of which are hallmarks of diabetes. And they're just focusing on this one, but it just goes through the entire system and does provide an amazing opportunity for the body to heal. And so just so you know, and if anybody wants to, I'm going to put this link in the chat window so you can capture this if you'd like. But it's just a great resource. This is just one of many articles on PubMed that you can use. And if you, as you do the research, let me find the chat button here. It disappeared. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to put that link in there in case you're interested in this body of research. Know that fulvic powder is a great source of minerals that significantly influence the quality of the microbiome. Have a number of other articles for you, so that will be just one of many. There's also the humic acid. Humic acid, that's really the stuff that comes right out of the soil. And impact of humic acids on the colonic microbiome in healthy volunteers. And I didn't highlight anything here specifically, but here's a conclusion. Humic acids have a profound effect on healthy colonic microbiome and may be potentially interesting substances for the development of drugs that control the innate colonic microbiome. Now you see what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to take something that's really natural and healthy and create something that may not have all the properties and balance that the natural thing will have. There is a product on the market, and I'll put that in there for anybody who might be interested. I'll put that in chat also. But that is Dr. Zach Bush is a very, very much into the fulvic and the humic world, and he has created a product that has been identified and in autoimmune, I don't want to call the name of the disease, but the one that really bothers kids and they have a lot of symptoms that are very disturbing and difficult for parents to deal with. It's an autoimmune disorder, and Restore has been known, which is a combination of the microbiota and the bacteria out of the soil. Very interesting product that can be used to help with those kinds of conditions that appear to be mental and nervous system related. Just keep that in mind, the Restore product. You can do your research on that one too. So moving along, I want to get to a couple of other things here. The Shilajit minerals is also something that I use. I don't use this every single day, every month. I alternate that with the fulvic powder. And the Shilajit minerals have a really cool story, though, from the Himalayas. And they had mountain goats that were living on the mountainside. And after some changes occurred in the environment, they noticed that one set of goats went up to the top of the mountain, another one went down a little bit lower in level. And the ones that were at the top of the mountain were extremely healthy. The hair was healthy. They were vibrant. They were jumping and all over the place. And the ones in the lower areas were they're losing their hair and just so many things that identify that they were not healthy. And they kept wondering, well, what's going on? What's the difference? And they identified that even the vegetation was healthier in the upper parts of the mountain. And they were able to get an extract from the soil, and they've been able to identify that that is indeed what is going on. And so this is what this looks like. It comes in a little package like that. And this will last you for about, I don't know, 3 months to 6 months, because you only use the little nip, just that little nip that's in there. And so you will be able to use the Shilajit powder. That is a very powerful set of minerals that also go toward helping the microbiome. And so I'll just see what we have here. I'm going to put this link in here because this is a whole bunch of research, and every single one of these, I mean, you can see all of this that's just all about the Shilajit minerals in the PubMed world. And so you can quickly and easily identify the many different benefits of being able to include something like this in your diet. So let me add that to the chat window as well. So in case you're interested, you can use that link to capture that. Now, going to move on quickly here to just this non-digestible fiber, prebiotics. Please know that the probiotics, the healthy bacteria, use fiber from plant material, primarily plant material. And so these plants, this non-digestible fiber is what we call prebiotics, and that becomes the food for the healthy bacteria. Now, Dr. Junta and others are going to be talking about the things you don't want to do, so I don't want to step there, but these are things you want to look for: galacto-oligosaccharides and fructo-oligosaccharides, along with inulin. These are high fiber, non-digestible fiber. The body cannot digest them, and for good reason. God made it that way, because if you digested it, then it would not be available for the healthy bacteria in your gut. And so please look for these kinds of things. If you're having anything with irritable bowel syndrome, anything, with IBD, just think a little bit about what you're learning tonight and some of the conditions that are associated with the imbalance of the microbiome. So here we have also, I want to go just a little bit deeper for you because I think you will enjoy this. Let me go back here. Just reminder that probiotic supplements are good, but try to get the broad spectrum. You know, sometimes they advertise, we got 50 billion, live cells in here. Well, if there are 50 billion of just one strain, then it's not anywhere going to be near as good unless that's just the one that you need. You want to get one that has many different strains and many different genus species of the probiotics. And you should also, if you're not eating lots of raw vegetables with lots of fibrous material, non-digestible, you want to probably get a probiotic that also has with it the prebiotics. So what does a healthy microbiome balance really do? All right. So this is just one of many things, folks. There's no way for me to include in a presentation tonight the whole thing. But I want you to know, reducing short-chain fatty acids. So butyrate, propionate, and acetate are 3 short-chain fatty acids that the healthy bacteria in your gut produce. And if you don't have these short-chain fatty acids, you are going to have some kind of illness. So I'll just click on this so you can see these names in here. Let's see. Gut microbiome, profound implications for diet and disease. And just to go through a couple of these. All right, gut microbiome, importance in health, influences development of chronic diseases. All right, you can see that. Diverse populations of intestinal bacteria, that's a whole bunch. That's why the diversity of the bacteria, of the probiotic is so important. You can't just take one kind and think that this is what you need. All right, but if you look down here, you will see obesity, diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, depression, cardiovascular disease, all associated with the gut microbiome. And, well, I don't know. I think I wanted to go right down here to obesity. Oh, yeah, here's a really important stat. Twins, metagenomics and analysis of twins data revealed that environmental factors such as diet and household cohabitation greatly outweigh genetics in terms of the function of the gut microbiome. So it is what we are doing, it's where we are living, it's the conditions and the food, the liquids that we're taking in. And let's see, yes, people who migrate to the United States have a 4-fold increase in obesity within 15 years of coming to this country compared to populations remaining in their birth country. And when they check the microbiome, they see the shift in the balance of the microbiome when people begin to increase their weight. And I'm not going to go into this detail here tonight. I'll send you the link. You can take a look at this, but I think you get the general idea, right? When they produce these short-chain fatty acids, a lot of diseases disappear. And I just want to set the stage now for Dr. Junta. I'm going to put this in chat so that you'll have this link, and you feel free to also take a look at this research. Now, one of the benefits is that inflammation reduced. Those of you who attended last month, we spent quite a bit of time on the inflammation story and what causes that. But just know if you reduce inflammation in the body, you're going to be restoring health also. So Dr. Michael Junta is going to be sharing with us a presentation on what to avoid, what to abstain from as we look at.
Thank you for the introduction. So we recently came from the expo at the Tinley Park Expo Center. It's October the 2nd and 3rd, put on by Trinity School of Natural Health. And they had the best speakers in the country that they can get a hold of teaching us. And we were able to get some of their information. Actually, a new exposure. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I think Julian, audio to start speaking. You don't need that. You're using my audio, so. Okay.
Yeah, we're hearing you clearly.
Yeah.
So I had to open my mind up a little bit to new information. So one of the things we have to do in order to practice temperance that yields health and happiness and stability and long life and freedom from pain and aggravation and the cost of surgeries and prescriptions. We have to temper our attitude and open our mind up to be more receptive. So I saw a couple quotes in here that I will share with you. It's not what you don't know that's the problem. It's what you know that isn't so. That's the problem. And so we can find out when we're in the wrong direction, we're on the highway. But when we're pushing our shopping cart down the aisle, we don't necessarily function on 100% valid truth. So it's what you know that isn't so is the problem. It just ain't so, says Mark Twain. Claude Barnard, MD, he said, we already know is a great hindrance into discovering the unknown. So we have a lot more to learn. And in our attitude of temperance, we have to open our minds up and be learning new things that we've never heard of before. None can destroy iron, but its own rust can. Likewise, none can destroy a person, but his own mindset can. And so we say to ourselves, I like, or I know what I like. And so some people are not teachable and coachable, and that's where pain comes in. Pain is a great teacher in expense. And so when we stub our toe, maybe we learn to wear the bedroom slippers, okay, when we're walking around. So pain is our teacher, but we can go to a health convention and learn things too. I picked up a couple books, read into the night. I think it was to 5 o'clock one morning. I was reading, underlining. I said, I could use this in my presentation. It's a little controversial, but it's getting closer to the truth, and the truth will set you free. And pain-free would be a nice place to be, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he is firmly persuaded that he knows already, without a shadow of a doubt, what is laid before him. So when I see somebody say, cool it with the vitamin D3, that's not going to be the big savior. I say, wait a minute. I read the book, The Miracle of D3. So I had to move over a little bit, open my mind up to see what they're really saying about that. And I'll cover that in a few minutes. What we're finding out is that we know it's bad for us. Here's an example right here. Everybody likes cereal, right? How's this one look? Okay. Our friends at Post Cereals bring us Hostess Donuts, powdered cereal. So they're like Cheerios turned into junk food. Okay. They have no fiber, zero fiber, a lot of sugar. But by government mandate, remember this country was very healthy 75 years ago. In fact, we led the world in health. Some sources tell us 75 years ago. They say pre-World War II. So what happened is processed foods, factory farming, things that didn't lead to health ended up being part of our daily routine. A lot of soldiers were rejected that were drafted into the war. They didn't pass their physical. And they said, what's the problem here? He says, oh, we know when you turn grains into powder like flour, you threw away the fiber and the nutritious part. If the nutritious part and the oils are gone, there's nothing left but a powder. And that powder is our flour, which we make bread and pancakes and, what have you. So grains can be bad, especially when they do it this way. And then the government said, we're going to put additives in it. There's a law that from now on, all our grains and cereals and crackers and you name it, has a government mandated vitamins and minerals. So the vitamins and minerals that have to be added, the top one, for some reason, is ferric, F-E-R-R-I-C. orthophosphate, orthophosphate, parentheses, a source of iron. Okay. And so iron is our friend, except we found out from further research that iron is bacteria love to eat iron. And so our immune system is now sent backwards instead of strengthened forward because the iron that comes to us in cereal, donuts, bagels, right? 50% of the supermarket is crackers and you name it. And so it's got some iron in it. And that iron, you know what he says in his book? Maury Robbins, you could donate blood to get rid of some of the iron. Like, what? My attitude is, I don't know if I wanted to keep donating blood, but he's saying that's one way to get rid of the excess iron. That's making your immune system backpedal, which you don't want to happen. So he's telling us our friend is our enemy. Okay, let's change our attitude. Our friend of our taste buds, okay, is really our enemy. And so temperance is to change your attitude and have a temper against the things that are weakening and making it more expensive, shortening our life. And so we're finding out, well, okay, I don't want to shorten my life. I don't want to have a weak immune system. Tell me more. My attitude is going to be receptive now. I'm going to learn more. Now, these are studies that are all listed in the book, and I can't give them to you right now. But in the Journal of Bacteriology in 2009, okay, Santorini said conclusively they showed that stress hormones cause iron to be liberated from a chemical called lactoferrin and transferrin, both of which serve as viral immune defense proteins. When you take the iron away, the bacteria have a feast, they have a party, and they multiply. We don't want that to happen. Prior to the study, it was known, but apparently not by medical science, medical doctors, medical colleges, stress hormones stimulate the growth of infectious bacteria. How does that happen? Iron is a key nutritional element required for the growth of almost all bacteria. Let's consider what does, we're going to connect the dots right now. I've got 5 points in my book. It's my book because I bought it, okay? But the person who wrote this book was very intelligent, very well researched. Iron is necessary for the growth of virtually all bacteria in your body. Stress hormones release iron to make it more widely available to bacteria. So what do we do about that? Well, we have to release the stress. There's a good book. It's got golden edges on it. Usually got a leather cover on it. It says forgive. It says to let go. It says to open your heart up and don't carry a grudge around in a sack. Pilgrim's Progress, remember? So we want the stress hormones to go away. In this book, he says, how about emotional freedom technique? Okay, what's that? Oh, that's tapping. I heard of that. So tapping lets you forgive yourself and forgive others. And that takes the damage of the stress hormones away. So that's part of what you can do to use your temperance in a life affirming way. 4, unchecked bacterial growth in your body causes your body's defense and energy producing mechanisms to be diverted away from other processes in order to cope with the bacteria. So instead of having energy and feeling, having a forward look, we have this sack of bacteria growing and using up our energy. In our mitochondria, which are little energy furnaces, we got a lot of them. These little energy furnaces are getting depleted because the iron is fighting against them. As a result, your body lacks energy it needs to perform its other functions, setting the stage for fatigue and eventually disease. So what's it say on the cover here? The cure for your fatigue, talking about balancing our minerals. So let's get rid of the iron. Let's all go out and donate blood tomorrow, okay? Taking notes? All right, you're not going to go over that. All right, we'll move on. No wonder stress is said to be responsible for 95% of all illnesses. That's pretty good information. Now, what are all the no-nos? Okay, we all heard them before. Don't smoke cigarettes, right? Don't drink beer. Whiskey's not the best friend, your best friend. Although some of my neighbors still seem to think that. Let me just say, if I had to state the most important thing that you need to achieve in order to vanquish fatigue and have more energy and improved health would be increasing the good friend iron ferroxidase function in your body and get rid of the negative impact. Now, here's the thing. You go to YouTube and you look up iron shavings and you'll find out that some kids got some breakfast cereal, okay? Do I need to bring this prop up again? Any kind of cereal you can think of, okay? Good pancake mix. They buzzed it up in milk and they made, maybe a smoothie out of it. Then they took a magnet and they stuck it in there and stirred it around until they picked up all the iron shavings and filings. These are the bad guys that they're putting there. The government says you have to put iron in, but they didn't say what kind of iron has to go in there as your friendly mineral replacement. So that's what's doing the damage, is the metal shavings that actually show up. And you could have a science project in the 7th grade and you could show stuff like that. And the kids will get the message. So, number 1, stop taking iron supplements, okay? That might mean to cut back on as much as possible the powdered grains. Powdered seeds are different. There's no law that says that they have to be supplemented with all these things. So some people will make crackers and pancakes and other things with ground up seeds like flax seeds and chia seeds. Stop taking iron supplements. Now we know why. Stop taking vitamin D3 supplements. Oh no, vitamin D3 is like my middle name. Okay, so I had to temper myself and add that to my knowledge. Well, how can we make it more effective? Well, D needs to have a partner working with it, and that's vitamin A. So if you get the A and D working at the same time, you'll have a blessing instead of large doses of vitamin D3. So there's more to cover, but I'll skip to the next one. Stop taking calcium supplements. Oh, wow, kicking ahead, I got it from a book called Death by Calcium. Whoa, I got to read that book. I thought that was a good thing, you know. And so Dr. Thomas E. Levy, cardiologist, I like books by cardiologists. They seem to be smarter than the average bear. Cardiologist. And in his book, he explains we're getting too much calcium, and that's what's causing that, and the combination with vitamin C deficiency is causing blood clotting and a lot of cardiac problems, circulatory problems. Stop taking zinc supplements. Stop taking molybdenum supplements. Here's one that kind of sticks in my throat. Number 6. Stop taking drugstore once a day multivitamins, even prenatal vitamins. Well, what are we supposed to do? Eat food? Oh, kicking the head. We're supposed to eat food that comes from a natural source. The sources were more natural before World War II because the farming was not these mechanical, wrong kind of fertilizer, wrong kind of minerals in place in the soil. Stop taking B vitamins from the bottle. Get them in your food. Okay, I'm sure everybody will agree with me on that, but I'm laying them out for you. Number 8, stop taking synthetic forms of ascorbic acid. You have camu, orange, citrus, a lot of things in you look up for vitamin C. Stop using high fructose corn syrup. Holy cow, that's going to make everything more expensive. Now the sugar is more expensive, okay? But they rescued us with artificial sweeteners, which poison our system and lead us down the road to making friends with the diabetes treatments. So using high fructose corn syrup, there goes your soda pop fix every day. There goes your syrups that go on your pancakes. And I could say there's a lot of things in barbecue sauce, different things that are going to be sweetened. So we have to cut back. If the word stop means stop as much as you can. When you stop your shopping cart, don't put the bottle in it. Stop using industrial oils. What's an industrial oil? Rapeseed oil. Oh no, they sanitize it in a way that in a chamber of oxygen, of nitrogen, and high heat, they can take the smell away, which drives everybody crazy. They can turn that oil into something nice like canola oil, which is still an industrial lubricant, cottonseed oil, soybean oil. I tell people get away from those things. They don't give you the omega-3s. They are full of omega-6. In a lecture, we were told that our omega-3 omega-6 ratio at one time was 1 to 5, and now it's more like 1 to 15. And you could easily make it 1 to 20 by the way you make choices. Now let's go on to number 11. Stop using fluoride. Holy cow. Look, Mom, no cavities. Throw that out the window. Fluoride comes in your water. If you have a pitcher of water in a restaurant and you let it sit there for 2 hours, the fluoride will rise out of the water, and they'll pour it in and you'll have water brought to you by your waitress, and there won't be any fluoride in it. At home, you have to go to a little more trouble. The other thing is fluoride comes at you in your shower, and it goes through your skin. And so we have to have a Sprite shower head filter, which all hardware stores carry. A Sprite shower head is a KDF filter, which turns the chlorine gas into a chloride salt, and it bounces off your body instead of going in your body. And you're not inhaling it in that little gas chamber called the shower. So that's an easy one. Fluoride toothpaste, well, that's an easy one to get rid of too. Stop using colloidal silver. But he says nano silver and sovereign silver have different properties and they're okay. 13, stop eating low fat, high carbohydrate, processed, refined foods. Man, there goes half your shopping cart. Okay. But in America, we could do it because we have the power of choice and we have the commitment that we're tempering our choices to yield health and not have a long-term miserable outcome, which this book here tells you about all the diseases that proper diet can ameliorate. I counted them, okay? You don't have to read them. 46 different diseases, including alopecia, which is hair loss. Oh, by the way, what's the name of this book? This book was popular in 2019. We talked about taking celery and juicing it. So it's green. If you make the right choices, you can eat foods that help you live longer and look stronger and act stronger. Processed refined foods, we can go on and on and on about what to avoid. Make better choices and you'll receive the blessing. 14, limit exposure to environmental toxins, including unchecked blue light exposure. Whoa, that's my computer. Well, maybe you could have the filtering lenses in your glasses. Maybe you could have the selection of the screen illumination. So we could do things to get rid of blue light as much as we can. Sunlight is what we need. So those are 14 things that we could stop. It said here, it didn't say stop exposure to environmental toxins. It said limit exposure to environmental toxins. So when we're breathing, there's stuff in the air. But in our showers, no more chlorine to breathe. Okay, we're going to filter that out. And on it goes. We have furnace filters that we should change at least 4 times a year. Not the $4 filter, but the $15, $20 filter in our furnace will eliminate some of these environmental toxins. And so those are some of the things. How are we doing on time?
We've got about 3 more minutes.
Okay. Iron, the most toxic metal. The bottom line is it's a complete violation of our physiology to be adding supplemental iron. It's a complete violation of our physiology to be adding supplemental iron. This is a metabolic poison to our mitochondria, our little energy furnaces that we have millions of them. They need bioavailable copper. The fight is between copper and iron. If we cut down on the iron, the copper will be in ascendancy, and they rely on it to make more energy. We have more bioavailable copper. That's one of the things we're accomplishing by going to unprocessed foods, natural organics, things that are health food store varieties. With that, I wanted to share with you. Iron is the bad guy. I never knew it was as bad as that, but it's part of the basic nutritional program that's offered here. America's poor eating habits is one of our primary reasons why the vast majority of people in the USA are chronically fatigued, and the US leads the world in incidence of obesity, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, arthritis, on and on. You can just keep on going. Remember what Maimonides said, the rabbi said, if it can be treated with diet, treat your infirmity, your pain, your diagnosis with your diet, and you'll have a better outcome. Today, 75 years later, we have one of the lowest health statuses on the planet. Over 5% of the world population, we're consuming, I don't know how much of the prescription drugs, okay, a large number. And I didn't say anything about don't do drugs. I didn't say anything about don't do, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say anything about that. Okay, did we talk about coffee or tea or caffeine? Here's what he says in Medical Medium, the Celery Juice book. I'm not against drinking coffee. I'm just not for it as a health food. Coffee tends to wear down the adrenals and make the body acidic, wearing out the stomach glands as well as causing lower hydrochloric acid, which you need to digest and break down food, and eventual putrefaction of food as the years go by. What's putrefaction? Well, it's constipation, it's bad breath. Okay, it's just rotten food in the gut. Guess what? It leads to ammonia gas in the gut that seeps up into the mouth and leads to dental and gum decay. It's an astringent on this. It's a stringent on the system, harsh on the intestinal linings and tooth enamel, and extremely dehydrating. I could go on and on about how bad caffeine is. We just use it to cover up all the things that are going wrong. Remember, we said low energy, fatigue, we're not getting enough rest. Well, the caffeine gives us the little shot in the arm and gets us boosting and thinking I'm okay. As long as I can get out of bed and get my coffee going and get to work, I don't have any problems. And so men have been telling their wives, I'm not sick as long as I can make it to work in the morning. Okay, and all I need is a crutch. The crutch is going to be coffee. Now there's one little crutch that we allow, and that's antioxidants in the form of dark chocolate. So we're going to tell you that's one little indulgence that you can find benefit you. Get a smoothie machine, start making juices. We have whet your appetite a little bit for more knowledge, and we want you to have more copper in your battle for good health. That's all I could give you right now in little bits and pieces. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a question. Colloidal silver. Says, what was the problem with colloidal silver?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, the book that Dr. Michael was just looking at was speaking with the nanoparticles, nanosilver particles, as opposed to colloidal. And I'm not sure what the difference is, but that's something that we can research. Michael and Harrison, both of you are asking the same question, and I'll try to find out and see if we can answer the question. And we put it on our Facebook page, so you can go there and see the information.
Okay, am I off?
Yes, yeah. So thank you so very much, Dr. Junta, for sharing with us this information. It just really speaks to how intense we need to be, right? In terms of the source, in terms of the type, and in terms of the impact on the body, and to be sure that we need to be responsible for our own health. Now, there's something that is fascinating because, yeah, we talked about the foods and the liquids and those kinds of things, but there is another dimension to life, and that is our motility. There's another dimension to life, and that is our work. And in the last segment, Dr. Junta just mentioned the fact that, people were saying, if I can get up and make it to work, then I'm okay. But it's more than that, isn't it? And so we're going to invite Donald Hall to come on, share your screen if you need to. We'll give you permission to do that here in a quick second. And you can do that now. And we're going to hear from Don Hall regarding the work-life balance and how that fits into temperance.
Thank you, Mr. Mike, for bringing me on. I must give credit to the last student presenter, yourself and Miss Dr. Junta. You guys did a phenomenal job, and I don't know if I'll be able to walk in y'all's footsteps this evening. You guys have set a really high bar for me this evening, but I'm going to try my best, if that's okay with everyone. So we're going to be just continuing with temperance and just going to talk a little bit about what it really means to live a temperate life. You guys did a very good job in talking about foods and the different things that we can do on the ingestion side. But what does this practically look like? And this definition of temperance that I found here is temperance is balance in practice. And that just says a lot to me. It's basically doing what we do, but living life in balance. Sometimes we tend to be overly exert on one side of our life, whether it be at work or exercise or, whatever it may be that we find of interest. We may tend to overdo it. And that creates some level of imbalance in our life. The strength of the will to use our resources to the best way you can instead of wasting them. And that, in essence, is what temperance is. Yeah. And what it really is that we're talking about is self-discipline and self-control. And that's what we're trying to achieve in life, right? We're trying to achieve some level of discipline in our life, some level of consistency. And the way that we're able to do that is through being temperate, okay? And one of the ways I found for me personally that is the best way to kind of achieve that sense of balance is to have a to-do list or a schedule. I don't know. I can't live without a schedule. I can't live without putting things down on paper. If I don't, I'll miss it. I'll miss it. So what I do practically for me is that every night before I go to my bed, I kind of write down the things that I have to do tomorrow. Currently, I'm in school, so I have my assignments scheduled for me. I write that down. This is need to be done by tomorrow, by Wednesday, by Thursday, by Sunday. My exercise time, my time with God, my time for work, my time with my family. Every single second of my day is scheduled out. And the only way we're able to create some sense of balance, some sense of control in our life is by literally writing a to-do list or making a schedule. Uh, if you can achieve that sense of control and that sense of balance without writing things down, power to you. But I know I can't. So some of the resources that we can use to accomplish this is basically having probably a sticky notepad. Those stick pads that you could probably stick on the computer, or you could stick on your mirror, or you could use an electronic version. Like most of our phones these days have a calendar or things to do app. So you could use one of those venture, and trust me, it works wonders. The next thing that I found that brings some sense of balance and control to my life is sleep. I don't care who you are. If you're not getting quality sleep, you are not going to be able to carry out the function that you have put on your things to do list. You have to get good quality sleep. Last night was the last I really experienced the power or the beauty of getting good sleep. Last night, unfortunately, my wife's aunt husband died last night. So we were up until about 3:30 this morning. And I still had to wake up for work for 7. And my body felt it. My body felt it. I still pushed through with everything that was on my list. I did work. I went to the gym. I did school. But I was literally running on E. I had to come home midday and take a 15-minute nap. That I don't normally take naps during the day. But I know because I didn't get quality sleep the night before, it affected my day. So I'm telling you, being temperate is also making sure that you schedule effective sleep in your life. Amen. And the next thing that we have to do is make sure that we spend time with God. We tend to underestimate the power of in today's world, we call it meditation, but I'm going to call it spending time with God. That family devotional time that we take. It has a sense of rejuvenation that it adds to us, knowing that we are spending time with the creator of the earth, knowing that that's where our sense of strength comes from. It really adds power to us. So it is very important that if we're going to live our everyday life, that we are supposed to be temperate in this as well, to spend quality time with God. And I mentioned exercise just a while ago, that's part of my day-to-day life. I can't live without it. I spent the last couple of months really diving down into exercise, and I had an injury the other day and I wasn't able to exercise, and it's like almost half of my life went away. But I found that because I've grown to love exercising so much that I felt as if I was beginning to overdo it. And I had to find a sustainable way that I figured that I would be able to use for the rest of my life without it creating any repercussion on my body. And what I did, that instead of going out and beating the pavement every day of the asphalt, running or any kind of really exerting sport, I adopted walking. And it's just so funny that the American Heart Association recommends walking to combat most of the diseases that we have. So they're recommending a vigorous exercise of about 30 minutes per day. And if you are able to do that, you will be able to stop or restrict most of the diseases that we come upon us. It's also talking about watching less TV, using your computer less, not sitting down so much, 2 to 3 times per week, going out and get involved in some kind of recreational activity, strength training if you're able to. For me, I strength train. I walk every day, including Sabbaths. I wake up Sabbath morning, I'll go for a 1 hour walk because I know I'm going to be sitting down in church for the rest of the day. I'm going to be eating Sabbath dinner. So yeah, so I try to get my walk in every day and strength train at least 3 times a week. And trust me, it has worked wonders in my life. And the reason why I adapted walking instead of going out and running, I don't think I'll be able to run for the rest of my life, but I know I'll be able to walk if God preserve my feet for the rest of my life until I die. So I feel like that's a little bit more sustainable habit to carry out for the rest of my life. Hence, I'm being temperate about that. And let me see which one I have here left. And then family time. It is very important, for us to spend time with our families. The cares of life could get so involved, from the work and, trying to grind, trying to keep up with meetings. And, we have so many things that are beaten on us every day. And sometimes the most important things in our life we tend to neglect, and that's our family. Because a lot of people will tell you that they have spent their life, chasing money, making money, but they're not happy. And the reason why they're not happy is because they didn't invest quality time in their family, in their relationships. So it's important to put that a part of your schedule as well, to spend quality time with your family. I put date night here. My wife and I, we schedule date night once per week. 1 week I'm responsible for it. The other week she's responsible for it. So we get to spend quality time together so that we can build familiarity, so we can build communication, so we can learn to love and trust each other by just having relationship. And if we're able to do these things, we'll be able to achieve a life that we, are not just focused on just that one thing, but we are spreading our resources across, and everything in our life is being affected in a very positive way because we're being temperate about it. And I believe, with that being said, between the 2 presenters before me and myself, I feel as if we had made a comprehensive list of things to do as to how to live a temperate life. But last but not least, in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 31, it says, so whatever you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Amen. Amen. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, Don Hall, for bringing us a sense of what a good, solid work-life balance is like. And how, it's interesting as I'm doing the research, all of these things, every single one of these things, in fact, every single thing that happens in and around us affects the bacteria in our gut, including the family time, including the Bible study, including the time for relaxation and the diet, the exercise. And it's just really amazing that we don't really think about the impact on the microbiome, but we see the benefits of it. And so any additional questions from our group tonight? Just really thankful that we have you here. We're going to wrap this up in just a few moments. But before we wrap it up, I'd like to be sure that we answer any questions that you might have. All the way from the microbiome and how to take care of it, all the way through to abstinence, the things to avoid, and then the work-life balance. Looks like we answered the questions. All right, so guys, next month is the month of November. And next month, the 8th law of health. The 8th law of health is trusting in God. And that has a lot to do with emotional health, touches on mental health, touches on just being able to forgive and to live above or somewhere below the radar of our negative emotions. And we are just really thankful that our speaker is online with us tonight. I think he's still here, Dr. Alvin Backus. Yes, he's going to be our presenter next month, November the 9th. And we just want you to realize that what we've done over the last several months, this is the 7th month now. Well, actually, the 7th time that we've touched on the 8 laws of health. And we're just really been blessed with this. It's sharpened my my life in many ways with sleeping and just the work-life balance and so on. And now we are going to be completing the 8th law of health next month. Now, after that, we would love to hear from you. If there's any topics that you're interested in hearing about, us digging deeper, any specifics, we are a research team. And we are not scared of any of the research. We're not sure that we'll find specifically you, but we trust God that there is a natural solution for every single problem. And it is up to us to do the research and to be wise into what the lifestyles that we live. And so we want to just thank you. If you have any ideas, please put those in our Facebook group. If those of you who come to our church, please just share that there. Send it to me on WhatsApp. You have many different ways of reaching out to us. And I did put that link in there earlier. I'm just going to make sure that I put that again so that you have it. You want to be sure that you have an opportunity, folks, to get input, give us input into these different topics that we've been presenting here. We'd like to hear from you there. So could you please, Pastor Atkins, I believe you're with us and would love to have you have our closing prayer. Are you able to do that?
I'm here.
Oh, great. All right, I'm going to put this link. Okay, it's not allowing me to copy it for some reason. Okay, maybe now I have it. I'm going to put that in chat so we have it. And please use this link to reach out to us, depending on what your questions are. Join our Facebook group. Thank you all for coming out. Pastor Atkins, please close us out with prayer.
Sure. Our loving Father, we just thank you for this opportunity, Lord, for the opportunity to hear the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which encompasses many facets of our lives. And Lord, we just pray that the information that we've learned tonight, we can implement and make beneficial for our day-to-day living so that we don't overtax our brains, overtax our bodies, and just so that we can be healthy and wise and faithful servants of yours. And so I pray for each person on the line. Please protect them, keep them as the apple of your eye. May they have a wonderful, wonderful week. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, folks, have a good night and be healthier tomorrow than you are today, every single day for the next 30 days till we get back together, November 9th.